Let's get ready to rumble!
The WBO have cleared the way for a unification between Stephen Fulton and now INOUE, the undisputed bantamweight champion. When INOUE moves up to super bantam, he can petition the sanctioning body to become their mandatory contender at 122. Now, a lot of people are speculating that Fulton might move up to avoid INOUE. I'm not going to throw any shots at Stephen Fulton because he hasn't done that yet. He hasn't done that. And, you know, you got to give the man a chance to see how he responds to making that fight. One thing that worries me about Stephen Fulton in concerns to making this fight here was this comment here, which I'm going to say was the dumb comment of the year. The dumbest boxing comment of the year. Stephen Fulton on INOUE. If you take away that power, would you still consider him as good? Well, when they start making hypothetical boxing matches to accommodate your hypothetical questions, we can open a whole dialogue of woulda, coulda, shoulda scenarios and rhetorical questions. Well, the skeptics, the Stephen Fulton skeptics, are theorizing that he has a ready-made bailout to avoid INOUE, and that's to make a rematch with Brandon Figueroa. And the first one was hotly contested, close fight, so you can make the argument that he's got to clean that up. Question is, though, what does the average boxing fan and the industry believe will be the more significant career-defining fight for Stephen? Brandon Figueroa or now INOUE? Now, I'd go for INOUE. I would do. Fulton fanboys, and I'm a fan. I love the way he boxes. The fanboys and his promotional outfit, the PBC, they would argue, well, he's not fighting on INOUE's time. He needs to clean up this Brandon Figueroa fight. INOUE should have moved up sooner. That's what they're going to say. Britain currently only have 5 male world champions. Tyson Fury, Lawrence Okolie, Josh Taylor, Lee Wood, and Sonny Edwards. Joshua failed to get his belts back from Alexander Usyk this year. Josh Warrington lost his IBF strap at 126 to the Mexican Lopez. Paul Butler, he lost his WBO belt in a unification attempt against now INOUE. Can Danny Dubois cash his WBA chip in at some stage this year and get a title shot? Or will it be the juggernaut Joe Joyce? Or will AJ find his form again, take a fight with Wilder or the winner of Usyk and Fury? Perhaps Joe Joyce or perhaps Danny Dubois. Dylan White, he'll also be looking to rebuild as well at heavy. Joe Joyce, the IBF mandatory, has relinquished the EBU belt. Perhaps Fabio Wardley, 3 wins on the bounce British champion, could challenge the winner of Ajit Kabayel Asmakisi when they fight for the vacant belt on the 28th of January 2023. Fabio, very exciting fighter, a bit green at times, but it'd be interesting to see how far he can go. At cruiser, Lawrence Okolie, he holds a WBO strap, but Richard Riakporhe and Chris Billion-Smith, both are highly ranked in most of the sanctioning bodies. They'll be looking to push on and challenge for world title honours as well. Can Anthony Yarde become unified light heavyweight champion in a few weeks' time against Beterbiev and really set the UK off with a bang for the new year? Callum Smith and Joshua Buatsi are both highly ranked in most of the sanctioning bodies. At 175, they're ready to strike too if opportunity knocks. And if not, we wouldn't mind seeing them fight each other. Don't sleep on Dan Aziz. He's building up his ranking amongst the sanctioning bodies. He's looking for a fight with Lyndon Arthur, domestic showdown, perhaps European honours, and we'll see where he can go from there. John Ryder, excellent win against Zach Parker this year. He is now interim WBO champion to Saul Alvarez's higher tier belt. Can he get any significant fights? Will he get that lottery ticket against Saul Alvarez, who Eddie Hearn is trying to tempt over to this side of the pond? And if he does, John Ryder will be the likely opponent. LaRon Richards, he lost a lot of ground after beating Carlos Gongora. He turned down the Ali Akhmadov fight, saying that Carlos Gongora beat Ali Akhmadov. Akhmadov went on to fight on the AJ bill against Gabe Rosada, putting a very good performance, and he's actually ranked higher than LaRon. And LeBron is talking about fighting Zach Chelly, who I can't see ranked anywhere. What is it, for the English title or something like that? He's going to be fighting Zach Chelly. You got to step up. Eddie did a good job. You should have took that fight. It was a good fight. He apparently passed out in his hotel hours or a day or so before the Zach Chelly fight. And let's hope he has better fortunes this year and make better decisions, more importantly. Hopefully the winner out of Eubank and Liam Smith will be pushing for world title honors at 160 further down the line in 2023. Denzel Bentley, he's banging on Frank Warren's door. He wants the winner of Eubank Smith. He wants the winner. And coming off the back of a very good performance against the boogeyman Johnny Beck in America, Frank should do all he can to secure this type of fight for Denzel. Let's not forget Felix Cash, who is still undefeated, but he seems to have lost a lot of ground since that 2021 stoppage victory over Denzel Bentley for the British title. He's either going to challenge Matteo Cignani for the European title, or he'll take the fight that most of us would prefer to see him in, and that's the Amo Williams fight. An all-Matchroom, all-DAZN showdown. 154, Liam Smith is ranked in a lot of these sanctioning bodies, but he's fighting Eubank at 160. If he can beat Eubank, he could drop back down and perhaps get a shot at something. Jamal Charlo is undisputed champion, so it'll have to be taking the winner of Charlo Tim Tszyu. James Metcalf, he's ranked quite high at number 5. He'll be looking to push on. Josh Kelly, career best performance this year against Troy Williamson and captured the British title. He's ranked number 6 by the WBO, number 8 by the IBF. He'll be looking to push on too. Conor Benn was the big hope at 147. He's obviously got his well-documented issues, failing a doping test. He's still ranked number 4 by the WBA. They're giving him the benefit of the doubt, it seems, but the rest of the sanctioning bodies, they dumped him quick when they found out what was going on. 140, obviously we have Josh Taylor, WBO champion. He lost a whole load of his straps this year, not in the ring, through mandates to fight when he wasn't ready and getting stripped. There's O'Hara Davis ranked at number 2 by the WBA. Does he fight Lewis Ritson at some stage? O'Hara Davis, he's ranked number 5 by the WBA. That'd be an interesting fight. O'Hara will have to travel to Newcastle, but there's not really much happening for us there. Obviously, we got Josh Taylor versus Jack Catterall, all-British showdown for the WBO belt, the long-awaited rematch after the first controversial one. At 135, we have Maxie Hughes, who beat Kid Galahad this year, career best win. Not likely to get a shot at anything in 2023, but you never know. You never know. Is he the IBO champion? When I say get a shot at anything, I mean one of the main 4 sanctioning belts. He could fight for the Euro or something. There's something out there I'm sure Eddie can do for the guy. Super Feather. Bit of a hot and cold year. Knockout of the year was scored by Joe Cordina against Konishi Ogawa. Joe suffered a hand injury in training, couldn't fulfill his mandatory against Shavkat Rakhimov, and the fucking IBF stripped him of the belt, and that's why we only have fucking 5 world champions. You know what I mean? The other fighters get away with murders with the IBF, but it is what it is. Joe gets the next crack at Shavkat Rakhimov, and it should take place this year. Hopefully Joe can get his belt back. We saw Zelfa Barrett seemingly in control against Shavkat Rakhimov on the Dimitri Bivol Gilberto Ramirez undercard. Had Rakhimov on the canvas, but Zelfa was stopped in the 9th, unfortunately. Archie Sharp, he's ranked number 1 by the WBO, so he'll be looking to push on and maybe fight for the vacant title that Shakur Stevenson left behind. Featherweight, obviously we have Lee Wood, who has been elevated to the full WBA champion. Josh Warrington lost his strap to Lopez recently. Lee Wood will be fighting Mauricio Lara, hopefully first quarter of this year. They're still talking about making a Josh Warrington-Lee Wood fight. Jazza Dickens is climbing up slowly but surely. That's 126 feather. We move to super bantamweights. Liam Davis, he's the British champion at super bantam. but he's nowhere near world level yet. Let's see if he can push on for European honours or Commonwealth or something. It could be a different story next year. At bantamweight 118, Paul Butler was recently relieved of his WBO strap by INOUE, who is the undisputed bantamweight champion. Charlie Edwards is ranked number 6, Lee McGregor at number 8 in the WBC. Super flyweight, Kal Yafai had a comeback fight this year. I remember seeing him on the canvas, and he needs to get back to match fitness and get himself sharp. He's a little way off tackling the elite. At flyweight, we got Sonny Edwards, who's looking to unify against Julio Cesar Martinez. Will that ever happen? It's been stop and start, the negotiations for that one. Eddie has high hopes for Kal Yafai, who is ranked at 13 by the WBC, 14 by the IBF, and they're fast-tracking him currently. Power struggle of the year has been in the UK between Frank Warren, Eddie, and Ben Shalom. Eddie has had a tough year on the domestic front. Not all doom and gloom for Eddie Hearn. Promoter of the year according to Women's Fight News. And why would he get that? Well, here's a little list of the top promotional outfits in the world and how many women's boxing matches they put on. And as you can see, MATCHROOM and DAZN score 7 more than Sky and Boxer. So at least the ladies have got your back, Eddie. Adrian Broner, he sounds recharged and revitalized with this BLK Prime deal. I'm not expecting the resurrection from AB or anything like that. He said 40% of the pay-per-view is what you get. And you get it on Monday, you don't have to wait no weeks. So they're able to count the buys very quickly and pay the fighters on time. Bob Arum was vouching for them about Avanesian's paycheck, which wasn't no chump change. And, Frank Warren told him, yeah, it's all in the bank. All in the bank. Money, if you're in a working environment and you're reassured about what you're supposed to get, nobody's ripping you off, it takes a burden off your mind. It does. It really does. And at least AB mentally is in a good place. It was just a few months back he pulled out of the Figueroa fight, citing mental health issues. So his mind is free. He can fight. See, what's good about this? Let's say Ivan REDKACH whoops Adrian Broner's ass. Now, Broner might make an excuse and say, I was injured or something. But he can't complain that he wasn't in a good headspace. He can't complain about that. He seems very happy with this BLK Prime deal. What did he say in the Sean Porter interview? He said, the PBC will get you an opponent, a killer, and they'll pay you well. But BLK Prime will pay you more money, what did he say, about 3 times more, and you can pick who you want to fight. Good for AB, but not good if he can just pick Ivan REDKACH level opponents all the time. Because, who's going to buy the pay-per-views? David Price suggested that Anthony Joshua should go train with Don Charles, who I believe was AJ's first trainer. I think the dilemma was Derek was there as well, before AJ, and it was basically 2 bulls in a pen, and AJ had to make way. Big up ID Boxing. David Price was basically saying, what's this fascination with American trainers? What's because they got the big American accent and this and that, and he just wasn't impressed. He wasn't impressed. He was saying they're overrated.
So would Don for you be maybe if you was to recommend someone?
I know. He knows him. He's known him since he was a kid. He's a good trainer of heavyweights. He's a big man himself. Why not? What's to lose? He wants to go and train in America with these big names. I'm not all for the American trainers. I think a lot of it's bullshit. Just because they've got an American accent and the big America thing and HBO and this and that. There's a lot better trainers in the UK than some of them Americans. All the Americans are interested in is the money a lot of the time. They just want the money.
Now, historically, they've had some great trainers over there. They have. But I think people forget that Rob McCracken and Tony Sims, actually, British trainers, took AJ to 3 belts, to unified champion. But you tell me what modern day trainers took a raw material like Derek Chisora with a handful of amateur fights, won the ABAs, turned pro, won British, European, Commonwealth titles, and made a fortune, became a pay-per-view fighter, was fighting for world titles before he had 20 fights and acquitted himself against Vitali very well. Personally, I think it would be a good option, an interesting option for AJ, but they're probably going to go for an American name. And I think David Price hit it on the head. If it's a boxing decision where you can see where this is going to go, yeah, go with an American coach. But if you're just going to do it for the sake of having an American coach, then just have to hope for the best. Here's what you have to say on Twitter today anyway.
I like to see my name being constantly mentioned amongst other fighters because the opportunity is always there with me. There's big opportunity to fight me. Whoever's ready, I'm ready, and we'll get it cracking in the new year.
What's your sort of like overarching target for the new year?
Just be consistent, be fit to fight. And everything comes off the back of that. I could tell you what the World Championship looks like. I'm dying for that, 100%. And that's all my heart and soul really is leading towards. But other than that, I'm just going to focus on the small things, and that's just being healthy, fit, and ready to fight.
Let the team make sense. What would you do if you're Edward Spence? Would you run high to fight in the trench and test your strength? Would you stand there idle, run for survival, and go grab the Bible? You got 120 days to defend against Bruce Edison.
Vacate the title. Has anything been announced by Spence or the WBC about taking on Keith Thurman? I think he's trying to screw Keith Thurman around a bit. They've had a bit of a standoff for as long as I can remember. Although he may try to speed it up now if he doesn't want to fight Boots for that IBF belt. I think what Errol needs to do is go get that Black Pride money and fight Crawford. Just do that ASAP. Big up the IBF. They had planned to make Boots Ennis' next fight against Karen. He is a dude, right? Not a transgender thing. They had planned to make that fight for the IBF interim belt. The reason they said they were going to split up the belt is because the WBC already mandated Spence to fight Thurman. But it looks like that's taken too long to be announced, and it's Errol's call. You got options of good fights out there. Keith Thurman is a good fight. Terence Crawford is a good fight. Boots Ennis is a good fight. They're all good fights. I mean, surely he's not planning to fight anyone too easy anyway. And neither should Crawford. Crawford needs to take out whoever the outstanding challengers. That's where he should be going next time around. Avaneeson was a good challenge. Public demand says Virgil Ortiz. That's who you should take on, Crawford. No easy outs for nobody. No fanning for nobody. Not for Crawford or Spence. If you're not going to fight each other, you got to fight the top contenders. Simple as that.